sizer, files, wax in the shape of a ring to be formed, ring sizer thingamajiggy, butane torch, butane, knife, ceramic slabs, and last but not least, clay silver. I've been meaning to make jewelry for a while now, and you know, life just got so busy, and here we are, like literally a few months later, and I have yet to make a final product. Well, I did make one piece of jewelry when I went to Taiwan. I took a class, and I've also done a little bit of wax carving here and there, but I never actually finished the whole process to get it casted into actual silver. So I ended up buying silver clay. It's pretty much clay. After you fire it, it turns into a solid piece of sterling silver. And it's cool because it's recycled sterling silver. But yeah, I think the main reason why I haven't tried it yet is because a pack of this is not cheap. This was pretty pricey. Today is the day. Can't avoid you any longer.
And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to properly refill a butane glider. I like to shake it a few times and then do it one more time.
I started out the same way I would with any type of clay, but I did notice that this one was a bit weird in that it didn't really like to stick to itself very well. So even when I rolled it into a ball, there were cracks that were forming on the exterior of the clay ball, and I would really have to go in to smooth out the surface. I also didn't really buy any new tools for this. I pretty much had some tools from bookbinding and wax carving and just like other hobbies, and I actually did find myself really wishing that I had a thinner tip tool for carving in details and for getting into the small crevices, because my fingers were a little bit too big for smoothing out the joints of like the little, I believe it's called a bail. That part was very tricky for me to figure out. I kind of just went in, like I took my little blade out of my X-Acto knife and I just used that as a tool because that was like the thinnest thing that I could find. I also have seen people use like rubber tip brushes for this because clay does actually stick to very porous type of tools, but with the rubber tip, I believe if you like cover it in like some cooking oil or something, it would help with the smoothing of the clay and letting it like stick less to the tool. We're in my bathroom right now because I finished 2 pieces and I did a lot of research, and by research I mean I watched a lot of TikTok videos on how to use silver clay, and everything they said about silver clay is so accurate. This type of clay dries insanely fast, so unless you're constantly like spraying it with water and stuff like that, it's going to, like the outer layer dries almost maybe like within, I'll say like a good 10 to 20 seconds it gets pretty dry. so I'm consistently spraying it and it's still a little bit kind of like weird to work with because it's also like a very soft clay at the same time. So it's definitely something that I had to get used to. I'm still not too used to it. I think I'm going to only do these two pieces first, fire it, and then see how that turns out before I proceed, because I'm not quite sure if my technique was right, especially for the joints of where the clay was touching. I think jointing clay with regular ceramics is already hard enough, and with silver clay it's even more confusing because it doesn't stick that well to each other. So hopefully I did it good enough that it'll be solid when I fire it. So in the instructions, I'm supposed to actually either leave it to sit for 24 hours and let the moisture evaporate completely from it, or B, I can heat it with a blow dryer for 10 minutes straight. And I did it for like 5 minutes for the flower, but it's kind of boring. So I don't know if I should just let it dry on its own. It's pretty dry in Vegas, so I feel like it'll probably be faster to dry. And the way you test it is actually holding it up to a mirror. And if you see condensation behind it when you take it off, that means it's still wet on the inside. See? Do you see it? There's a little bit of moisture in it still. So I'm gonna leave it for maybe until nighttime, maybe like 9 p.m. Come back and see what the progress is and then try firing it. I really hope these turn out because I used a good almost half of the clay, so. I'm gonna take a quick break while I'm waiting for those to dry. On the topic of learning, I've been brushing up on my Mandarin Chinese with Rosetta Stone. A couple years ago, I had noticed that it was getting harder and harder to communicate with my parents over the phone. I was filling in the blanks with English and I was getting really frustrated at myself. After moving out of my parents' house a few years ago, I stopped having as many opportunities to use the language, and so I started to naturally forget a lot of vocabulary. So thank you, Rosetta Stone, for partnering on today's video. So if you don't know, Rosetta Stone is a very immersive language learning app. The app focuses on real-life scenarios to help you develop practical language skills that can be used in everyday conversations and interactions with real people. What I love about Rosetta Stone is that I can use the pronunciation tool to practice speaking out loud.
邮票
邮票. Rosetta Stone will give me instant feedback on how I'm doing with this little circle in the corner. If it's green, you're in the clear. If it's yellow or red, it's time to practice more. This tool is great because it helps refine your speaking skills so that you can be more accurate and confident in actually speaking the language you're learning. I also really enjoy opening the app anytime I have 10 minutes to study a little more instead of scrolling on social media. I've been trying to be more intentional with my screen time, and because Rosetta Stone learning is gamified, it's actually enjoyable to use. Now I can talk better with my family, and not only do I feel included in the conversation, I also feel more connected to them. So if you like to start learning a new language, whether it's to reconnect with your family or for travel or as a new hobby, now's the time to use Rosetta Stone. With the exclusive link in my description, you can choose the language learning journey that fits your needs with a single language lifetime subscription, or get access to all 25 languages with an all language lifetime subscription. Both are 50% off for a limited time with my link. Okay, I did the mirror check and there's no more moisture. This phase, I believe, you can still kind of mess with it a little bit by like sanding down the surface and like polishing it before you fire it, but it's also in like its most fragile state right now, so you don't want to mess with it too much. So I'm just gonna take like these little files and sand down the surface a little bit to make it as smooth as I want it to be. Also, I read a hack that you can like collect the dust from sanding this, put it in a little jar, and then put a little bit of water, and it becomes pretty much like a silver clay glue that you can use to fill little holes and stuff for like future projects. So I'm trying my best to like make it land right here. So with the torch, you're supposed to be around 2 inches away from your piece and to kind of like hit it at an angle instead of straight down. I didn't know this at first. I actually went to look up some videos after my first try with the torch, and it did work a lot better hitting it at an angle, and you're able to actually see your piece a lot better glowing red versus shooting it from above. And the process is, for the first few seconds you probably won't see any changes happening, but then the charm will eventually light on fire and smoke for a few seconds, and that's pretty much how it burns away the bonding material of the clay. And then you'll start noticing that it'll turn a little bit like pinkish, like it'll glow a little bit, and when that point happens you're supposed to set a timer to 4 to 5 minutes. And for the 4 to 5 minutes, it's supposed to be glowing a faint pink the entire time. Right now on screen, this is way too red, and there's a chance that you could melt your piece if it's that red, because that's a little too red. So you want to back up a little bit when you see it that red. But yeah, maintain that like light pinkish glow. They're watching me. We're back. So here are the pieces after firing. If you can see, they're still white because I actually have to pick up some polishing instruments so I can polish these. Why am I so out of breath? But yeah, after you polish them, they're gonna turn silver. But yeah, they sound silver. So they're like rock solid right now, and I'm debating if I want to buy like the whole polishing setup because I don't know how often I'm going to be doing this. But I feel like hand polishing them will also take forever. I think the one thing that I'm not a big fan of for silver clay is that since it dries so fast, it feels like you have to work super fast, and because of that, like, the surface is so textured and uneven. And I guess that's like the whole beauty of like hand-built items, is that it has like a handmade feel, but it bothers me that it's not smooth. I don't know if you can tell. So I feel like size-wise, these charms are a little bit, I guess they're not too big. It looks so cool if I got little like satin ties. Ugh. Also, the issue with handmade stuff is I have a hard time letting it go.
She's in Ireland. I just need to be there for her. You ever thought that having emotions and processing them sucks? Whatever. Blame later. Save them now.
That's freaking cool. I'm back. It's been a few days since I worked on this because I was actually painting that guy way over there. If you want to watch that video, that was last week's video. But yeah, I picked up some tools that I needed. So I needed to polish the clay like residue off of the charms, and every time you fire it, it leaves like a white film over the like actual silver part. And so the way you do that is you can either get a polishing tool, but that's way too much of a commitment. So I just got this, and it's a brass bristle brush, and this is enough to polish the white stuff off. This one's by Maxman. And then I also ended up picking up these like metal stamps. Oh, these are pretty much stamps you can use on the metal like after the metal is like hard, because I forgot to sign my name on the back, and I was trying to figure out how I could do that. And in Taiwan, when I took the silver ring class, we had a bunch of these stamps. And then this is just a 925 stamp, I believe, which means that it is sterling silver. It's like a hallmark. I don't know, I just wanted to be like really official, so I just bought one of these. Oh yeah, also to go with it, I got this rubber mallet because you need this to hit the stamp. I feel like they'll look even cooler after they start tarnishing a little bit, because right now they're looking like really shiny, but it's just like a hazy finish. That's what the brush manages to do. I know that there's like other finishes you can get silver to be, so like it could be like super mirror effect and like reflective, or more like scratchy and like this, which I honestly I feel like I prefer this because it just, I don't really like super shiny stuff. I kind of like the hazy look. I want to make a 4-leaf clover. I want to make a cat. I want to try making a ring, and I have one more that I can make because I have one more portion. But maybe the ring will be using like more clay. So maybe I'll just make that for now.
You know, sorry. This is your first time listening. Please make sure to start from the first episode. Trust me.
Written by Chris. Why did he beat your doubt?
Baby, please. I beg here for tomorrow.
Perhaps forcing her to wait. Let him die if he wants.
Oh, I'm not fretting. It's just.
Doubts.
Laughing isn't.
The more of the hidden people. Visit our website.
Oh, there's a rabbit in the backyard. Oh, so cute. I've never seen a rabbit in our backyard. I've seen them at the park. Goodbye. Hi, Earl. When did you start sleeping on the table? You used to never sleep on the table. I put them outside to dry, and hopefully they'll dry a lot faster than if they're indoors. So I have a few updates while we're waiting for the last two pieces to dry. I saved like the remaining bit to make a ring for later. I didn't feel like making it today because I wanted to make it special and I have no idea what I want to make for that one. But I figured out what I want to hang the charms on. So instead of just using a sterling silver chain, I decided that I want to get a silk cord for each of them and have it tied onto the neck instead of like a chain like this. Just because I feel like it makes it a little bit more unique and special. And I'm also like very, very inspired by July Rose. Like she makes really gorgeous sterling silver and solid gold pieces, and she sells the silk ties separately on her website. And I've seen the silk cord thing everywhere else, and I just feel like it's so elegant and it adds like a pop of color. So this is the one that I chose out. I already ordered 3 yards of it. If you can imagine it, this is what it's gonna look like, and I just think that's so cute. I feel like this cherry red is gonna look very, very nice against the silver. The way I've been seeing it is that people just tie a little bow in the back, and I think that's even cuter. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I don't know if it's gonna come in time before my trip, but if it does, I'm gonna show you guys because it's pretty cool. I also was trying to look into how I can make like the little drawings on the faces and like the little drawings on like all the other pieces darker. And you're supposed to use something called liver of sulfur to tarnish pieces faster, or not tarnish but like blacken it faster. Because the way you do that is that you add a little bit of the sulfur into water and then you throw the entire piece into the water and it blackens the entire surface. And I'm pretty sure you can probably do it a different way to like not get the whole thing to blacken, but I purely just want like the tiniest bits inside to be blackened. And I also read that like some people just take like an oil-based paint or ink or like a screen printing ink and then fill it in and just wipe off the excess, and I actually have some in black, so I think I might just do that instead. Over time, like right now it looks like really, really pale, but silver does age. It stains over time. I actually have a necklace that I can show you that I've had for a while. This is from one of my favorite shops called Monochromatiques. And you can tell it's significantly more stained and darker in certain areas now that I've worn it for so long. And these are still like very pale in comparison. So over time it's gonna have more character, which is really cool. I've had so many torch issues throughout this whole process, and this is your sign to not be impatient and to wait till your torch is working perfectly. Because I tried to make this work because I actually ran out of butane eventually, I either hit it way too hard at first, which caused some like surface issues on my cat piece, and also like it's just very inconsistent torching if you're constantly making it hot and cold and hot and cold. I don't know if that's really an issue, but it's just annoying to deal with, like having to stop and then refill your butane and then hit it again and try to get it to that pink glow only for it to cool down again, and you having to like reheat and over and over and over and over, and yeah. I ran out, so I got more. I think I'll be good for a while. Okay, now I truly understand why you're supposed to wait for them to fully dry, like absolutely fully dry before you fire them. So my clover one came out pretty good. This is what it looks like. But my cat one did end up with a few cracks, and I also feel like it could be because I got a little impatient, and also my flame wasn't consistent because I was running out of butane, so I was trying to make the most of it, and I may have just hit it too hard in the beginning with the flame. So I don't know if you could tell, but there's like a tiny bit of cracking on her face. It's not a lot. I wonder if it'll be really obvious once I brush it out though. Yeah, I think it's still there. I mean, it's not too bad. It's still pretty cute. But, there's still cracks on it, but like, it's not too visible. And now for the clover. This one's so cute. I think this one's one of my favorites actually. So it turns out I'm very ill prepared. I don't really have any oil-based paints on me. Even my block printing ink was actually water-based, so it's not gonna work. I'm just gonna temporarily use my Posca marker and fill it in. And until I find the proper one, we're just gonna pretend that this is the final. Because I am impatient. Oh, this might be too dark. I don't know how I feel about this. Oh! I accidentally. Oops. 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 No, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, it stained the middle a little bit. Do not panic, do not panic. It's a good thing I tried it on the worst looking one. Okay, it's not the worst looking one. Okay, you know what? This is just gonna come with a little patina now because I don't think I'll be able to get it off. I mean, it's not bad. Maybe I might just leave it without the black. Maybe I'll just wipe it off. Because with the black, it might be too intense. That's one intense cat. This is the messiest process ever. Here's the star. This one's looking better. Why do I feel like I didn't fully like fire this one? Because this one I fired for a full 5 minutes and it's like really cold to the touch. But this one is still like lukewarm. This one is also very cold to the touch. But the star one is also lukewarm. I think I might have to fire these ones more. I don't think I fired these enough. I think I'm gonna wipe the black ink out. I don't like the way it looks. I've had enough for today. This proves that I should end the night here. So these are the final pieces. I will not get the silk cords in time, so I'm just gonna have to model them with a little chain that I had already. This was a very interesting challenge for me. I think I learned a lot about patience. It took me pretty much 2 entire days to make 4 charms. Every single time that I make handmade stuff, I realize how much I appreciate people that do this full time and respect them, because making handmade stuff is always very time consuming and a lot of love is put into it. I'll probably list some of these in my next shop update when that comes. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something. And if you have ever tried silver clay, let me know. And what is your best tip for silver clay? Because I feel like there's a lot of tips out there, but we can never get enough tips. Thanks for hanging out. Bye!